Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Today's little sin is idolatry. While this may be one of the big 10, it's also a little sin because, as I've described in my introduction, it can be something that you just don't notice. It can be small and seemingly insignificant to us, and while we don't bow down and worship statues, which we certainly should not be doing, there are other things we certainly do bow down and worship. The definition of idolatry is worship of idols, extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone. Now that is a good definition. Now, why is it a sin? Because only God should be worshipped, and that's the only reason you really need. So what is worship? Worship is giving something or someone highest regard. How do we worship? We worship in three ways: with our time, with our money, and with our talents and skills. And anything that we put all of that into, or most of that into, is what we worship. And we worship things like leisure activities, hobbies, activities in general, such as working out, sports, amusement parks, whatever. We worship work. We can worship people, including our own family members, spouses, wives, children, and of course we all know that people worship celebrities. Objects such as cars, boats, monies, and even churches. We can also worship philosophies, points of views, ideals, rights, a political party. And of course we worship pleasure such as sex, food, and anything that brings us what we think is pleasure and joy. And all of that can easily be worshipped. Is anything wrong with those things? Ultimately, no. There's nothing wrong with them in and of themselves. The problem is how much stock we put into it. So when does it become idolatry? When do all of these things become a sin? It becomes a sin when it's an obsession or an addiction. You feel like you can't live without it. You don't want to do without it. It becomes more important to you than it should. You will do anything to get it. Nothing will stop you from doing this, saying that, being here, being there, being with that person, doing this activity. You will put everything aside in order to do it. And we become neglectful of priorities. We ignore everything else. It doesn't matter that I'm needed at my job. It doesn't matter if my spouse and my kids need me. It doesn't matter if my church needs me. It doesn't matter who needs me. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I have a right to be happy, is the phrase. And it becomes a real problem. And when you go after those things in these types of ways, you put all your time, all your money, and all your everything you are, all of your being into these things, then you are worshiping an idol. Now, it becomes a problem because God says, I am the only one to be worshipped, because He's the only one worthy to be worshipped. He is the creator of all things. He is the one who gave you that time. He's the one who gave you your talents, and He's the one who gave you your money. So He is the one who is worth it all. Saying you can't have leisure activity, you can't have fun, you can't have things. But when you put all of your life, all of your stock into those things, that's when you have a problem. So what do we do? First of all, we set priorities. Make sure you do the things that need to be done first. You set boundaries that, okay, I can enjoy this, but I'm only going to do this so much. I'm not going to put all of my time and effort into these things. I'm going to put some, but not everything. And you view people, possessions, and playtime as temporary. All of these things that you are worshiping, all these things that are your idols, they're going to go away. They can be taken from you today. So make sure that you have your boundaries, your priorities, and your perspective in check. And remember, give all your worship to God and thank Him for the ability to do these things and for having them at all, because He is the one who allowed you to have them. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.